Thinking about investing in the real estate market, should you go offline already? Is now even the right time? Hello and welcome to Unique Zone Real Estate Podcast. I am Baqur Mehdi, Director at Unique Zone Real Estate. Today's episode is truly special because I am joined by none other than our CEO, Mr. Ankush Midha. Mr. Ankush is just not a leader in real estate, he is a chartered accountant and a former banker with 25 plus years of diverse industry experience. Welcome, Mr. Ankush Midha.
Thank you so much, Baka, for having me. It's really a pleasure to be here today.
So in today's podcast, we are diving deep into Dubai real estate, but don't worry, we will keep it clear, insightful, and packed with value. Some fundamental question, Mr. Ankush.
Sure.
So what is the most important aspect one should look for while buying offline property in Dubai?
See, buying a property in Dubai, be it off-plan or ready, the most important thing is location. But when you're looking at specifically buying an off-plan property, you have to look at a lot of other aspects as well, because you're not just looking at buying something which you can see in front of your eyes. You're visualizing something which will be ready in the future. The community, the areas, the facilities, and you also have to look at very seriously at the developer's reputation and the quality that developer has been delivering over the past. So the past delivery experience matters a lot. That's why if you see, most of the people when they buy, they prefer to buy through the master developers.
Correct.
The Imar, the Miras, the Dubai Properties, Nakhil, and even the other bigger private developers like Damak, Danube, Shobha has built a very big reputation for itself.
Very true, yeah.
So when you're buying an off-plan property, of course, location, payment plan, and even the developer's reputation and the name of the developer matters a lot.
Fair enough. So right now in Dubai, do you think off-plan properties give better returns than the ready ones?
In the last 3 to 4 years, I think the kind of returns that off-plan properties have given have been really fantastic. Now, if you look at the market right now, of course, the developers have also increased their prices because they also have to cover up for the increase in the land value. I still believe there is a lot of potential for growth, but at the end of the day, choosing the right product is very important. The people who are buying off-plan, they need to think before they're putting their money into the project, whether they are buying a property which will be much more valuable in the future as compared to the ready properties in the same area. This we are seeing, this gap is still there in the villas and townhouses and the new upcoming areas, because what are coming up with much more facilities, and they are coming up with better quality of construction as well. So yes, in my opinion, there is an opportunity to make money in off-plan. You just have to choose the right product.
But what if the developer delays a project?
See, as per law, you're allowed to delay up to 1 year from the date which the developer had communicated in the beginning. In the past, what we've seen is that most of the major players do deliver within this time period, and there are actually some developers who've been delivering before their committed time period. Say, for example, Shobha, Danube, Imar in the villas and townhouse communities, they've all been delivering ahead of schedule. In fact, some of our clients have recently been complaining that the payment demands are coming in advance of what was communicated to them, which is a nice problem to have.
True.
So I think overall, I don't see the delivery as a problem, because most of the developers are cash rich. The escrows are quite well funded, and it's all because of the plan and as well as the execution from Dubai Land Department and RERA. They are making it very certain that whenever a project gets launched, it reaches its final ultimate goal, which is handover to the clients.
So that's quite interesting. So sir, in your opinion, is it the right time for a buyer to get into the market for buying an off-plan? What do you suggest?
You can never predict the bottom or the top. The way real estate market is very similar to stock markets, where you can never predict when to enter, when to exit. But over the last, I think 2 to 3 years, what we've seen is that the market has been going up only. And the speed at which it goes up, it either goes up fast in certain areas, in certain type of projects, or it slows down and then it gradually picks up pace again. So I have no doubts that the market will continue to grow, because the amount of capital, the amount of money that is getting invested into UAE is non-stop. We are seeing people from all new aspects, all new countries coming in on a regular basis. And we are actually seeing a lot of people who never used to, invest in Dubai. People who are very circumspect that, oh, what, Dubai, it goes down, it's like a yo-yo market. But the way market has behaved, it's now becoming more of a, gradually becoming more and more a mature market where, rules and regulations are very, very straightforward. They're set in stone now, and people can peacefully, with complete, certainty, invest into this market. And the kind of new communities that are coming up, the kind of amenities that developers are bringing in, I think the valuations are set to increase.
So as you've seen what is happening in the market and in current scenario, what Mr. Trump has done in the market, I'm sure you also know that, he has introduced the tariff, which everybody knows about it. So how do you see what will be the impact in UAE market or say, the people who are coming, and investing from USA or different part of the world, how they're going to see Dubai as pure investment city?
So Dubai has always benefited whenever there is any turmoil in the international market.
That I've seen. That's
okay.
True. That's
but when it comes to specifically to the tariffs, I think what Mr. Trump, the President of the United States, has done is primarily focused on making, his promises during the campaign of his elections come to, life. So he wants to improve the wages. He wants to increase the number of jobs. He wants to shift production back into the US, which had, spread all across the world. All developing countries, including India, China, Vietnam, you name the country, Bangladesh, everybody had benefited from the globalization in the past. Now, Mr. Trump, what he wants to do is bring back the value jobs, bring back the tech sector back into USA. UAE, on a trade perspective, doesn't really get impacted. In fact, Middle East as a whole has been a very big investor into the US market recently. I mean, you would have heard even private players, Mr. Hussein Sajwani, the owner of Damak, he's gone ahead and decided to invest a huge amount of money into the US, into the data centers.
Correct.
There's a huge amount of money which is going from the sovereign wealth funds from UAE, and Saudi. Everybody is investing big into the US because everybody predicts that the industry is going to go up and up in the US. Coming back to UAE, the impact of this on UAE, I don't see any impact as such. Maybe what you might see in the future is that some of the production comes into UAE, from China, from, specifically which are very capital intensive production. You might see some of that come into UAE itself because UAE as a whole doesn't really have any other exports, other than oil and gas, which US doesn't buy anymore. So what you could see in the future is that some of the industry, some of the factories from India, from China, from other third world countries would come and set up in UAE and take advantage when the tariffs go down. Because these tariffs, the way Mr. Trump is doing things, don't look like they're going to be permanent for a very long time. Because he also has to take into account that the tariffs at the end are paid for by the US citizens, the US people who are consumers. So it will if you keep them high for a very long term, they will have inflationary pressure. So it's very difficult to judge, where it goes, but I don't see any major impact in the long run. We might actually see a positive impact of this in the future.
But recently with this, you have seen the stock market got crashed. You have seen the gold price has been up.
These are all temporary things. Every stock market behaves in its own way. It's very news sensitive. So these are reactions which are more temporary in nature. I think we should not look at temporary things. Real estate is real. It's a real asset. You're building real assets over a long term. You should believe in the story of UAE, which is that UAE has the best infrastructure, lowest taxes. We have the best quality of life. We have the safest cities in the world over here. And I think that's what drives people to come over here. I mean, I'm seeing massive demand coming in from the Southeast Asia countries. China, a lot of companies from China are shifting over here. India, people are shifting over here. Europe and UK, we are seeing massive number of people shifting to this country. And I think what's driving this economy, UAE economy, is a very big shift of commercial activities. I mean, you look at the commercial space, the office space, the retails, the prices are going up in a manner which we have never seen in the past. I've been here like since 2001, I've been looking at this market. We've never seen commercial, assets grow in the way they've grown recently, because there is genuine demand for people who want to come up here, set up their shop. Now we are seeing a lot of actually demand from people who want to set up, small factories.
Correct.
That's not very natural for this place, and it's not being the norm. So what we are seeing is a new phase, specifically after what the UAE government did in the COVID era. So they signed deals with everybody across the region, and they also allowed 100% ownership of companies. Most of the sectors in UAE now are open for 100% foreign ownership. That's what is driving all these companies from all over the world to come and set up their shops over here. I mean, if you look at a macroeconomic level, one job which gets created, in my opinion, creates at least 10 subsidiary jobs. So you add one person into this economy, you need, as a go-ahead, you need a lot more people to support that particular person or that particular family coming into it. And you look at the population numbers.
Yeah,
we are close to 4 million now.
Correct.
In a small city like Dubai. And I think these numbers would have not been achieved unless there were so many initiatives done by the UAE government.
I agree with that. With major developments like Al Maktoum Airport, Dubai South, Etihad Rail, and key areas like Ambiar City and Palm Jebel Ali, how do you foresee demand evolving in this region? And what should investor keep in mind when planning for the future?
Dubai has been growing, and the growth of Dubai will take its center always towards the south now, because it's already the UAE government's initiative to set up one of the world's largest airport in Dubai South. And not just the airport, if you see even the exhibition center, the government is spending around 10 billion dirhams just to expand the Dubai exhibition center in the Expo City. The Expo City itself is undergoing a major transformation. It is going to become one of the biggest mixed-use development in Dubai. It is going to house like 4,500 people in offices, 3,000 residents. It's going to be one of the most advanced, communities in Dubai in the future. So all these developments plus Palm Jebel Ali and the neighboring areas of Palm Jebel Ali, where we are seeing some new launches even in Abu Dhabi side, on Dubai side. So all these major developments are going to take the center of the city more towards the south. I think it's high time investors look at Dubai South and all the areas under Dubai South very seriously. And my personal opinion is that most of the development which comes in Dubai South will see the highest amount of capital gains in the future. You look at Dubai, you look at Emaar, Grand Polo, expected very soon. We don't know yet, but they're going to launch very soon this master development. You look at what happened in Damak Riverside, sold out like crazy. Emar's biggest project, for this decade, which is the Oasis project. Superb master development, luxurious, really aiming at the high-end developers of Dubai. I think all these projects in the future are going to go up in price from where they're being launched right now. You're going to look at least 2x increase. And if you're an off-plan investor, because your investment is not fully done in one day, you're spending the money over a period of time, your ROE is going to be much higher. So I think it's these developments are really going to make a positive impact on the ways real estate sector in the
So
future.
what do you suggest? A private developer in that location or somebody who has name in the market?
I think everybody will benefit. Private developers, if they introduce a project which is really good, you look at Bharia Town from Pakistan. I mean, they have a very strong reputation coming in from Pakistan, and they're setting up a full master development near Dubai South. I think they are going to even benefit. Emaar, of course, is the biggest player in the market. But I think anybody who does development, Expo City, Nakheel, Palm Jebel Ali, and neighboring areas, whoever does work in that area, somebody who comes up with a good project, with a good payment plan, I think everybody is going to benefit from it.
So if someone is building a real estate portfolio, how should they balance between different locations, type of properties, and investment timeframes?
I think when you're looking to build a portfolio, if it's a balanced portfolio, I think you should look at everything, not just real estate. You should look at building a cash portfolio, a bond portfolio, a share portfolio. I mean, although we are real estate investors, we are not qualified, wealth management people. But I think it's very important for anybody who's building a portfolio, and he should balance out real estate as well as other assets. Real estate is of course real and it lasts for a long period of time. It gives you safety and security. It's your house. It's a good source of income. In Dubai, it's actually a very good stable source of income because you can make decent amount of returns. Unlike other countries where real estate gives you just 2 to 4% return, over here long-term rents are 5 to 7%. Short-term returns are as high as 8 to 12% depending upon where you invest. So building up a portfolio should take into account what are your needs. Are you looking to make a house? How big a house is that you require for yourself? And what sort of income are you looking at from the real estate? And balance it out, sit with a consultant, sit with people like us who are experienced. I mean, you've spent more than 10 years, 15 years, I think, in real estate. I've spent more than 20 years in this market, including banking and finance. So you have to sit, you have to understand your portfolio, what is your income in the future going to be like, what are your current asset mix, and then build a portfolio.
So how do you suggest a newcomer in the market who's just coming in? Let's say, for example, there are a lot many overseas people who are coming in, investing in the real estate market, and they say, offer us everything. So how should we invest and how should we start with these people?
I think the most important thing for them, anybody who comes into the market, he should be clear in his mind about his budget. When we ask, sometimes clients get irritated. Why are you asking us budget? See, the budget is the most important thing. Or, how much money do you have to invest? How much money do you have right now? And how much money will you have in the future? That should determine how an investment, or a kind of product can be offered. Are you eligible for mortgage? How much mortgage can you get? Can we offer you a ready property? I mean, we are not just selling off-plan. We are selling both, ready as well as off-plan. We are selling you plans. There are plans which go up to 9 years even. There are certain developers who offer you, rebates if you pay higher down payment. So it's very important to know how much money you have with you right now and when is your next lot of money coming in, so that you can determine as a consultant what product to offer the client.
Do you recommend buying in phase 1 of a new project, or should we wait for later phase and buy?
See, most of the times when a developer launches a new community, the pricing in phase 1 is always the best. But in certain circumstances, what happens is that the master plan is designed, and what the developer launches in phase 1 maybe doesn't have the easy accessibility to the central amenities of the project. You take, for example, Damac Lagoons. When it was launched, the first phase was the cheapest, Santorini.
Yeah.
But it didn't have as much water, amenities in it as did the other phases when it came to Malta, Nice, and all the other phases. So, of course, the developer increases the price by time because the developer also has to look at the initial investors, investment and time frame into account. But in my opinion, if you have the opportunity, whenever a new master community is launched, you should get into it in the first instance itself, unless in the later phases, the product which is being launched is completely different. Say, for example, only townhouses were launched in the first phase. And in the next phase, they launched apartments, like in the case of Riverside. Or if they launched in a townhouse community, the developer decided, like in the Valley, to come up with semi-detached townhouses, which are much bigger. So the product is different, timing is different, of course the pricing will be different. So in those cases, it's absolutely fine to go ahead with next phases. But if you have the chance, and if the requirement matches you, go for the first phase. That's what my opinion is.
Okay. So how is a golden visa connected to real estate? And what should buyer know before applying for it?
So golden visa is not just limited to properties, as you're aware. There are so many other criteria and categories in which people can apply for golden visa. My personal opinion, you should never buy a property just for the golden visa. You should buy the property on the merits of the property. The golden visa should always be taken as an added incentive, which is given by the government. So if you buy a property above 2 million dirhams, be it off plan or you are eligible for a golden visa.
Yeah.
Now, there are certain things you should be aware of, and I think a lot of people don't talk about this. The property on which you take the golden visa actually gets blocked. So till the time you are the owner of the property, you are eligible for that golden visa. Of course, if you build a portfolio over a period of time, you can always get a property delinked from your golden visa requirement. Say, for example, you got over a period of time 4-5 properties, you took a golden visa, and the total value of the portfolio was say 4 to 5 million. Now, if you want to sell one of those properties and the total value of your investment doesn't go below 2 million, you can of course go to the government, ask for that particular property which you're selling to be delinked from your portfolio. The government will delink it because you're still eligible, so you don't have to cancel your golden visa, and you can still go ahead and sell it. But in case you are selling the main property on which you took a golden visa, you will have to first cancel your golden visa, and only then the government will allow you to sell the property.
It's clear that one has to get the visa cancelled
Yes.
before selling the house.
Absolutely.
Because lot many, these days the newcomer agents, what they're
That's the trouble, in this market, everybody doesn't have full knowledge, but they want to sell their, sell, and the sale doesn't, make sense because you're not giving the rest of the correct information.
Very true, very true. So many of our viewers are first-time or mid-level investors. Let's talk about the practical decision making. So, sir, in your opinion, how should buyer assess a payment plan?
See, there are a lot of developers who are offering different payment plans. Payment plans which offer upfront balloon payments, then handover payments, then post-handover payments. I think what's most important for any investor is to look at what is their budget, what is their cash flow. See, if you can put in a bubble amount earlier and get a better discount or a better rate from the developer, do that. If you don't have the cash and you really want to stretch it out because you have recurring income coming in, which will support your payments, like a mortgage, it becomes like a mortgage of an under construction property. Then go for a plan which is stretched out. There are certain developers which offer even 0.5% per month or 1% per month payment plans. Then those payment plans suit you. So it's all about what suits you that should drive your decision making rather than what the developer is offering. Also, I think what should be also your consideration, especially with post-handover payment plans, is whether it's allowed in your country or not. So we are seeing a lot of issues like from India where, the Indian government is saying that if you have a post-handover payment plan, that's not allowed. There's some issues with FEMA which are coming up. So I think in that case, it is better that you avoid a post-handover payment plan or make the payment at the time of handover and then just move on. But if you're a resident of UAE or a place where there is no issue with post-handover payment plan, you should utilize it if the price is the same. Because what happens with post-handover payment plans is that the property itself generates adequate amount of money which can be used to repay these installments. Say, for example, Dan, if you're paying 30-35% post-handover, and in that time period you're going to end up earning anyways 24 to 30%, your property value actually comes down. Your investment comes down because the property is itself paying for itself. So I think a lot of these factors should be taken into account. You should sit down with the developer and with your property consultant and choose which is the best plan which is going to work out for you.
Makes sense. So, are there any hidden charges as well which one has to look for?
In Dubai, the regulations are very clear. There are no hidden charges. The only charges that, say for example, a developer can ask for is there's a small admin fees, which is the fees actually to register the unit with Dubai Land Department. Some developers charge 1,000, some charge 3,000, some charge 5,000. And that is also told upfront at the time of booking itself by the developer. In addition to that, you pay 4% DLD fees. Certain developers offer you, various offers, promotions, where they pay 2% or 4%. So they have to actually pay to the Dubai Land Department on your behalf. Other than this, there are no hidden charges that you can, as a developer, charge a buyer. Now, coming to secondary market, of course, there are the The charges are plentiful, but they're not very high. And they're also laid down very clearly when you're buying a property. So in the Form F, the agents have to clearly lay down what are the DLD fees, what is the NOC charges, what is the trustee fees, what is the title deed charges, if there is any blocking involved or a mortgage fee involved, then the mortgage consultant and the agent have to clearly lay down what are the charges. If there is any bank charge, say for example, a foreclosure charge or a mortgage registration charge, all these charges are very clearly spelled out. So there's nothing hidden in this. And then of course the agency commission is there. Everything is laid down very clearly. And if somebody asks you something more than what is already documented, I think as a buyer, you should ask him why. And from where is this coming from? Because you have not informed us at the time of concluding the contract itself.
Okay. So how important is the developer after sales service and warranty support when buying a new home?
It's very important. Although these things are laid down in law by RERA, but you have to look at the buyer. The buyer should definitely look at these from reviews or just talk to your broker, because past experience actually tells you how the developer is going to behave in the future. Again, the first year is covered under the defect liability period, so the developer has to provide on-site support. If something goes wrong, then the contractor should be available to fix it. And then you have a 10-year defect, a warranty period, So that warranty period should cover all the construction-related aspects. So if there's any structural issues that come up in the building, the contractor and the developer should take care of those. It is, in my opinion, very important to select the right developer who has the right ability and the long-term stability to be able to support a buyer and an investor to take care of all these things in the future.
And is it free of cost?
So the first year is, of course, defect liability period, that is free of cost. So anything that comes up, the developer or the contractor has to get it fixed. After that, of course, it's your cost for internal things and small things. But if there's a major defect, then yes, that is again free of cost, and that's covered by law. So if somebody is asking you to pay for it, then you can go to RERA and complain about it.
So, sir, I want to know from you that what's the biggest mistake investor make when buying for an offline apartments, villa or townhouse in Dubai?
I think the biggest mistake most of the buyers do is that they underestimate what will be their future requirement. You look at what you have right now, but you don't foresee what you will need in the future. So what happens most of the time, what we see is, although people buy something, they realize by the time that property is going to be handed over, oh, this will not suit us. Now they need to sell this and to again buy something else. You should foresee any property at the time of buying itself, that will you be able to use it in the future. Of course, budgets matter, but if you underestimate, then it's very difficult for you to be able to use it.
True.
Other thing that I think which mostly people do a mistake is the payment plan. If the payment plan is very aggressive and you're not able to pay the money in time, there are penalties which a developer can levy on you, and in the worst case scenario, you can even lose your property. So you have to be very careful that the payment plan is going to be easily serviceable by you. And the other thing is that make sure that once you've made the 24% payment, 20 plus 4% land department payment, you've signed the sales and purchase agreement, that the property gets registered with the Dubai Land Department. Because your rights with the Dubai Land Department and RERA become enforceable as soon as the property is registered. Of course, you will become eligible for golden visa, and you can view the progress of your property with the Dubai Land Department on their Dubai Rest app, post pictures, audit in each and every project. Another important aspect, I think, which people should be aware of is that once you're buying an off-plan property, especially, the payments that they make should go into escrow accounts. Because what's in the escrow account is the amount that the Dubai Land Department and RERA can safeguard for you. I think if you take care of these basic things, most of the agents in the market should be able to guide you and take care of these aspects. Otherwise, you should be aware of these basic things, and I think your journey in the investment property investment cycle will be very good.
No, that's really helpful insight. Thank you, Mr. Ankush. That was a masterclass, Mr. Ankush. Thank you for breaking it down for our viewers. And I have not many questions to be asked, but I believe the time is limited, so we should be doing in the next episode.
Absolutely. And to the viewers, if you have any specific questions or if you're still doubtful about why and how you should invest in Dubai, more than happy to answer your specific questions. Just drop them in the comments below, or you can even email them to us. The details are, I'm sure, coming below. So go ahead, and we're more than happy to take those questions in our next episode. Thank you so much, Baka, for having me.
Thank you, Mr. Ankush, and I hope our viewers will be liking this show. And soon, as we are promising that we'll be coming with lot many questions which the investors generally ask the agents, and we'll be breaking it down in our next sessions.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, and thank you, our viewers.
Thank you.
This is Baqur Mehdi signing off from Unix Zone Release.